Hey guys, welcome back to TechnoHack. This is Parikshit back again with another video. In the continuation of our web application vulnerability series, this is the second video for our CORS vulnerability. Alright, we have seen in the previous video what is CORS and how it works. So we have seen in details like what is exactly the cross-origin resource policy, what is origin, what is same origin policy, what is cross-origin policy, and we have also seen in detail how it works, what methods we use for that, how the server configuration happened at their end, how the CORS vulnerability exactly occurs and how we can then exploit it, right? So this is what we have seen theoretically completely in detail in our previous video. So if you have not seen that video, please make sure to go back and hit that video first so that you will understand this video much better. Alright, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe and hit the bell icon so that the next video that I'm going to upload, you will not miss that. And in this video, now we are going to exactly learn about the practical session of this CORS vulnerability, where we will learn how exactly we try to find this vulnerability and how we exploit it, right? So this is exactly we will do in this session now. Alright, so without making any further delay, let's get started. So let's start with our practical session now. We are going to use the CORS vulnerability with basic origin reflection lab from our ports figure, and here is the lab already we have. I am just going to access it and we can see that it is opening here right away, and I will just add this ID into the scope. Alright, so let me paste it here and OK, so that I should be able to intercept it. Okay, and I have done it, and let me just start the interception. Okay, I need to log in here guys first of all. So let me log in here with the winner and Peter. That's what the lab says. So let me just first read out the lab, and here the lab says website has an insecure CORS configuration that it trusts all origin. So it trusts all the origin means it is allowing every origin to access the resources from their website. So now to solve the lab, we have to craft some JavaScript that uses the CORS to retrieve the administrator API key, and then we have to upload this particular code into the exploit server. So and once the lab is solved, you successfully submit administrator API key. Okay, so we can log in with the winner and Peter, and we already did it here. So let me just put it over here, and I did log in, and let me just put the winner into this particular login section so that I can save my logged in credential now, and I did that. Now I am logged in as a winner and I can see the API key which is here. Okay, so this is my API key, this is the user winner's API key, and what is our motto here is to find out the API key of the administrator user. And for that we already have an exploit server which is like acting as a attacker machine, where we are going to craft some JavaScript into this particular exploit server, and we are going to submit it to the victim. And here in this case our victim is nothing but the administrator. Okay, so once let me just open it here, open it into the new tab, and you can see this exploit server act as an attacker machine, and here in this body section we are going to craft some JavaScript, and then we are going to deliver it to the victim by clicking on this button. So what will happen is whatever the code that we will prepare for this thing, it will actually, this exploit machine or this exploit server will send this particular JavaScript code to the administrator user, and once administrator user receive it, suppose if he is already clicking on it or he is accessing this code, and then we will get his API ID, and that is what we want to see if that happens. And because this website is having the CORS vulnerability, it should happen like that way. So let's just try that now. And before that we want to make sure what is the request that we want to submit. So we will get it, I think we can just get it by using the verb suit, and we can see I did the login and into the my account. Now in this section, let me send it out to the repeater, and I can see when I say go and to the server, and we can now see access control allow credential is set to true. So this is the misconfiguration that is there. Now we just want to make sure that this particular website is having access control allow origin to true, or it is allowing other origin to access its resources or not. So to do that, we can simply type here origin as a header, and we will just see whether it accepts the request of example.com or not. And let me say go, and you can see access control allow origin, it is example.com. so it means that this particular site, this particular target site is accepting the request from any origin, and it is also having the access control allow or credential set to true. It means that whatever the third party that is making request to a first party site, so here the first party site is even allowing a request or even allowing a third party site to make its request with the credential, right? So whenever any request the third party site is making to first party, so they can make that request along with the credential, and that is another dangerous thing which can give the huge impact to the site. Okay, and so we have a confirmation that this particular headers are in place and it is allowing us to access their resources. So now what we are going to do is we have a script here that we are going to send to the victim. So in this case this is just HTML body, and then we have just prepared this particular script, and here in this we just need is this particular thing, because we already have an exploit server ready which is over here, and here exactly we want to send it. So in this body section we already have a hello world, and we already have the HTML and body tags set up already over there. So we just need is this particular script. So let me just first explain to you guys what exactly the script does. So here in the script we have simply created a variable called request, and this request variable stores the value of this new XML HTTP request. And what we are going to do is now we are going to send this new request to the victim. So before that we have created a function called request listener. Okay, and what it will do is this will actually store the content whatever we will get on the page. So whatever the text that we will get in the response, it will store into this particular section like under the log and keys. Okay, this is the location for it. So this is the work, this is the function, this is what the function, this request listener function will do. Okay, so here what we have then done is we have mentioned that whenever this request.onload, means whenever this particular new request gets open, or whenever a victim clicks on this particular link, this request listener will work. So in this case what it will do is it will just response to that, like whatever the request we are sending and whatever the result is there, it will actually store it into this location. So this is just the request listener function will do. And next thing is request.open. So whenever the request is getting open, so what will happen here? So this is exactly the account, my account or account details request we want to send it. So let me just show you first of all what exactly the thing we have to update it here. So we can see that guys, like when we get the API key, so whenever we send it something like this, the host address should be like this. Okay, so let me just copy that, and after that let me just put it over here. Okay, and so this is the lab ID, and then we can see here after that we are trying to access the account details. All right, so whenever we visit to account details page, we get the API key. So the exactly same thing we want to update it over here. Okay, so that our request will go to this particular path, and the next line saying that this request will go along with the credential. Okay, so we have seen like how we have saved the credentials for our lab, right? So this is the same credential that this request will use, and it will become along with the credential. So now in this case we are sending it, but sending it to the victim, and we are closing our script tag and everything. So that's all. Let me just now copy that and send it to the victim. So let's just do it over here, and let's directly deliver it to the victim, or let's just first store it and then we will now deliver it to the victim. Okay, once we deliver it to the victim, let's just access the log, and we can see the API key for administrator. So you can see log question mark key is equal to their username is administrator, and email is also given over here, and the API key you can clearly see that over here. So this is exactly the API key %22. After that, this is exactly the API key. So to solve the lab, we have to send this API key in an answer. So in a submit solution, let me just put it over here and say okay, and yeah, you can see lab is solved. So this is how a exploit server, or this is just acting as an attacker machine, which sends this particular link or a script to administrator in behalf of us, because we do not have any functionality or any function or any machine where we can send this kind of payload to victim, right guys? So this is what the exploit server does here. The exploit server itself sends this link to the victim, and it is even executed in the victim side, and we are able to see the result here, right, in our side. So this is how we take the advantage of CORS vulnerability, guys. So this is how the misconfiguration is so vulnerable, and it will give you the access to pretty much anything which usually you should not be able to access. Okay, so this is the CORS vulnerability, and I will now show you like how you can take advantage of this vulnerability in real time. So in real world, to take advantage of this CORS vulnerability, you will not have this exploit server which will help you send this kind of links to a victim and get you the result, right? So you won't be able to access this kind of logs and the API keys or anything. You won't be able to do that. So because you don't have the exploit server with you, and that's the reason you won't be able to do pretty much anything outside in the real world, right? So guys, for that I will show you like how we can create your own exploit server and how you can take advantage of all these things. Okay, so let me show you this thing over here, and so for that what you have to do is, suppose if you have any Linux machine or any other machine, so you can simply start your simple HTTP server over there. So suppose if you are having a Python 2, if you are using a Python 2 in your system, whether it is Ubuntu or Kali Linux or anything, so you can simply type like Python 2, and then it is a -m with simple HTTP server. Okay, and you are just going to start it, or maybe you can simply say --bind, and it will bind to particular port, like let's say 8000. So your local host will start in the 8000 port. But if you are having a Python 3 and not a Python 2, then you have to change your command to http dot server, and I'm going to bind it to 8000 port. So let me just start it. Okay, there may be something some issue, or maybe I need to bind it to 127.0.0.1 and on 8000 port. Okay, now it is serving. So this is serving the request, and for that I just need to check this particular URL. Okay, so this is exactly now we're going to do. I'm going to open it over here, and we can clearly see the all the files and folders which is there into my Kali Linux machine. So we can see that this is the another tab I have for this. I can click on ls and I have all these folders over here. Okay, so these are the same things that we can see in my particular Mozilla Firefox. And now what we will do is, like, we will create a simple file and we will try to update that particular script into our file, so that we will send this file to the victim, or we will keep it into our local host server, and we will try to access it from the Mozilla Firefox browser. So let's try that, and for that I will just say nano cors.html, and let me just copy that particular thing out over here. So for that, let me just copy it and I will just put it over here. Now I will just save it, Control O and Control X, and now we have a cors.html file over here. Let's just try and we will see the result over here, because whenever we try to access anything from our server, we get the logs over here. Okay, so let's just try that out now. Before that, let me refresh it, and now we can see cors.html file is available over here. Let me open cors.html. Okay, it is saying hello world because that's what we have updated it over here. And now we can see clearly here the username is winner, email address is updated over here, and the API key is also given over here, which is exactly starting after this particular %22. So still here we have the API key. All right, and this is exactly the API key. Let me just show it to you over here. Okay, so this is exactly the winner's user API key. We got it. We will just verify it once again, and we can see, right, this is exactly the winner's API key. And in our case, we supposed to send the administrator user's API key, but that can only happen with the exploit server, because we do not have a ability to send this particular script to the admin user. But that's where the exploit server comes into the picture, which helps us send this particular script to the victim. But this is how I just want to show you how you can create the particular exploit server on your own, and how you can exploit the CORS vulnerability in a real time. So to understand it again much better, we have another lab, which is the BWAP lab we have already set up, and we are going to exploit the CORS vulnerability from here. Okay, so let's just do that. This is exactly the cross origin resource sharing, and I'm just clicking on it, and I'm just clicking on hack. So what we have to do is, to solve the lab, we have to try to steal this secret using the AJAX request from malicious site. So this is the secret website. So this is the secret, which is Neo's secret, and we want to access this page from any third-party website. So to do that, what we have to do is, I will just do one thing here, like, let me just put it over here and replace it with this one. Okay, so everything is as it is. Okay, and what we are just doing is, we are opening this particular site from this particular another third-party website, or in this case our third-party site is our Python server, which we have started it over here. So for that, let me just replace some things over here. I will just have to do is or let me just create another file like a cors2 or nano cors2.html, and enter. I will just paste it over here and Control O and Control X. That's all. I think we should have a cors2.html as well. Okay, so we are going to access this particular site from the Firefox. So cors2.html is there. I click down it. Here we can see log question mark key equal to Neo secret is here. We got it, right? So here we can clearly read that, why didn't I took that black pill, and this is exactly the news secret. So we got it here. We are able to read everything what is there on the web page of this particular site. Okay, so this is exactly we are able to read from our third party site here. So this is how you take advantage of the CORS vulnerability, guys. I hope you understood it much better by using both the ways, like by using the exploit server of Bubsuit, as well as by how you are able to create your own malicious or your own server where you can track all the details, all the logs. You can able to attack on the CORS site, vulnerable site, and you can get the details on your own website, right? This is how we do it, guys. So I hope you understood it much better, and I hope it was helpful session for you guys. Alright, so this is it. We have understood how exactly we try to find this vulnerability and how we exploit it. I hope you like and you understood the concept of the course, and if you like, please make sure to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe, guys, and hit the bell icon so that you will not miss the next videos that I'm going to upload. So till then, thanks for watching, have a great day, and bye bye.